Against fights.
Okay. And then
What's going on this weekend?
We got UFC Mexico.
Yes.
So we were looking at the card, and me and you kind of agree. Like, there's maybe 2 or 3 fights that we were looking forward to.
Yeah.
I guess we can start off with obviously the main event with Jeremy Stephens and Yair.
Yeah. So I think if I'm gonna get something really wrong this week, it's probably gonna be this fight.
Okay.
So I'll start with my prediction. I just want to preface this by saying that I'm a giant fan of Yair Rodriguez. He's definitely one of my top favorite fighters. I love that dude. However, I'm not excited for him this weekend.
Against Stephens? That's a tough fight for him.
Against Jeremy Stephens.
Yeah.
Now, some people have been bringing up some good points, right? Jeremy Stephens has lost a lot of fights.
Mm-hmm.
People clown on Nate Diaz. People have been talking a lot of shit on Nate Diaz and Jorge Masvidal because they have 11 and 13 losses respectively, I think, somewhere around there. Jeremy Stephens has 16 losses.
Yep, he does. 28 and 16.
Yeah, and I don't think he's ever put together like a really long winning streak. However, here's why I think that this fight is going to play out the way I think it's going to play out. I don't think it's a good matchup for Yair.
Okay.
So the way I look at it, Yair is obviously super talented, right? But their fighting styles, to me, it just favors Jeremy Stephens because Yair is very patient, right? Because he's throwing so much like crazy shit, he's really patient and technical, and he gets aggressive sometimes. He'll throw some leg kicks, but he's not constantly pressuring. He's very patient, and he's kind of reading his opponent throughout the fight instead of just like the first round, like some people do. Will they'll read him, and then as soon as you get the read, you start throwing. He's kind of like taking reads the whole fight, whereas opposed to Jeremy Stephens is just coming for your head. That's it. Jeremy Stephens is coming to turn your lights off, and that's it. We know that. The guy is violent.
Yeah.
Right? So when it comes to the most recent matchups, you see Jeremy Stephens just fought Zabit, right? And even though he lost, I thought he did pretty well in that fight. And the key to me is that in that third round, it seemed like Zabit was starting to wither a little bit. He was starting to get a little tired, and Jeremy was still coming at him and throwing some heat, right? Also, when it comes to fighting styles, Zabit is similar to Yair. That's why so many people wanted to watch those two dudes fight, is because they fight very similarly. So, in my opinion, Jeremy Stephens has been preparing for the same fight for twice as long as Yair has, because he just prepared for Zabit. He did pretty well, and I'm sure Jeremy is super hungry coming into this fight. So that's why I think it's a bad matchup. I think Jeremy's coming for him. He's coming for his head. He's bringing big power, and Yair is just a little bit too patient and calculated for my taste. I think he puts him out. I think Jeremy Stephens TKOs Yair. I think the only way Yair wins this fight is if one of those really good techniques happens to catch Jeremy.
At what round do you think he'll catch him?
Second or third.
Okay.
However, to Yair's advantage, 2 things. Number one, the last several fights for Yair, or at least a lot of his last couple of fights, have been 5-rounders.
Okay.
So he's been preparing for that.
Right.
And also, his last fight was in Denver, and this fight is in Mexico City, which are 2 high elevation cities. Right. So he's coming off back-to-back, or this is his second 5-round elevation fight in a row.
Yeah.
So that...
Yeah, I have a feeling that Jeremy Stephens is going to win this one too.
Yeah.
But I'm going to personally be rooting for Yair.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because he's a younger guy. You know, he seems like his last fight was freaking incredible.
100%.
Especially the way he finished Korean Zombie. So something tells me Jeremy Stephens is going to win just based on his performance against Zabit.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be rooting for Yair to win this one.
Ooh, here's an interesting comparison. I think if Yair wins this fight, it's going to look a lot like John Jones versus DC2. I'll explain.
You mean this fight's going to look like that?
Yeah, if Yair wins.
Okay.
I'll explain. So, the most obvious one, statures, right? Yair is the taller, flashier guy, whereas opposed to Jeremy is the smaller pressure guy.
Right.
But the reason I say it'll play out that way is because I think Jeremy will be moving forward consistently, throwing, and arguably maybe winning the fight based on striking. And as he's coming in and pressuring, he gets caught. That's how I think Yair wins if he wins this fight.
Okay.
But I don't think that happens. I think Jeremy Stephens takes this
Okay.
fight, which sucks because I love Yair to death
Yeah.
and I don't want to watch him lose. But shout out to Jeremy Stephens because he's been showing a lot of respect to Mexico and the Mexican fans in the lead up to this fight.
Yeah.
I dig that.
That's good. So I think we both are going to be leaning on Jeremy Stephens.
Yeah.
Co-main. So we got Carla Esparza and Alexa Grasso.
Yeah, I'm excited for this fight. Carla's been in the game for a while. She's a former
Yeah, she
champion.
has. Yeah, she has.
She's a former champion. Good fighter. To me, the interesting part about this is Alexa Grasso,
Yeah.
the young one, the up and comer, and to me, the more improved fighter because they brought her in for a reason, right? She was doing great things outside the UFC, and then they brought her in, and she suffered some adversity. She went through some injuries, some losses,
Mm-hmm.
but her last fight to me was super impressive. She fought Karolina Kowalkiewicz, and who's a really tough technical opponent.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, she did exactly what she was supposed to do. She came into this fight well conditioned.
Yeah.
She had good cardio, and she was throwing combinations, and she was taking it to Karolina. I loved it.
Yeah.
I hope she comes out this fight that way in this fight. And if that's the case, I'm taking Alexa Grasso in this fight.
I'm gonna take her too. I've seen her fight maybe twice before, and she won her last one against what was her name, Carolina.
Yeah, Karolina.
And then I saw a loss before that. If I can't remember, I forgot who she lost to.
Yeah, I don't remember the name either, but
But I was impressed from her performance from her last fight.
Mhm.
And so I think with this being in Mexico, and I'm sure a lot of family members are going to be there,
Oh, yeah.
I think that would motivate her to want to really put on a show
Yep.
for this particular one. So I have a feeling that Alexa may take this one.
Yep.
What do you think? Do you think this will be a submission from her or a KO, or will it go the whole 3 rounds?
I think she outpoints her and
In
probably wins the
3
decision.
rounds?
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably like a 29-28.
Okay. I'm looking down the list for this card. I mean, the only guy that I personally would recognize is Brandon Moreno.
Okay.
I've only seen one fight from him, but a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
The other people I haven't personally heard of, so I'm not sure if there's a particular fight that you are excited for in this card.
There's a fight that I'm looking at. It's buried in the prelims, but I'm looking forward to Vinicius Moreira versus Paul Craig. In my opinion, I think Dana White's trying to get Paul Craig killed because he's just giving the dude tough fight after tough fight after tough fight after tough fight. Vinicius Moreira is dangerous, man. The guy is cement in his hands. Yeah, I think, and Paul Craig is a wizard on the ground, absolute wizard on the ground. So I think this is a good matchup by the matchmakers because you have an up and coming guy who is sparking people and obviously has a lot of power in his hands, versus a guy who is incredibly dangerous on the ground. And I think that's kind of what the spirit of the UFC is to see who comes out on top with these matchups, right? So I'm gonna pick Vinicius Moreira though.
Okay.
Yeah, if he stays on the ground though, he's gonna get submitted. But I think he ends up catching Paul Craig.
Yeah. What do you think about us maybe doing a fight companion for this particular fight night?
Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah.
Let us know. You guys want to see that?
Yeah, I think it'll be fun and something new for us to do.
Mm-hmm.
And it's this Saturday too, so I think we can. With it being in Mexico, I wonder what time it starts.
Can't do
Starts
that.
at 5.
I just realized I can't do that.
Oh, you're busy?
I fight night this weekend.
Oh, that's right.
Yep.
So are you gonna miss this fight then? This fight card?
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we can do it. What's the next fight night after this? Where's the pay-per-view? The pay-per-view's not until October.
Yeah, I think the next fight after that is Cannonier versus Hermanson, if I'm not mistaken.
Make sure. Oh, well,